just going to be a quick 5. It's 5 movies I've watched somewhat recently. And they're all relatively new. 2 of them are not that new. 3 of them are fairly new. I don't like to do reviews on movies that are too new because I like to give out spoilers and all that. And if, I don't know, I like for people to have a chance to watch the movie because, I don't know. If I pick something too new, it gives you an excuse to not watch the review. You'd be like, well, I'm going to wait till I watch it, and then you never watch it. So I pick older movies like 80s, 90s, 70s. But tonight we're going to do a quick 5, starting with the movie Cooties, which came out in 2014, starring Rainn Wilson and Elijah Wood. It's a zombie comedy. It's about a school that gets infested by zombies. It kind of reminds me of The Faculty a little bit because it takes place in a school, except this time, instead of the faculty being zombified, it's the students, it's the kids. And it's not like a high school, it's little kids, it's an elementary school. So that's kind of funny because you're not supposed to pick on kids and have to worry about, you can't kill kids on camera, but this movie doesn't hold back. But it does it slapstick enough that it's funny. And Faculty also stars Elijah Wood. Rainn Wilson is hilarious from The Office. Instead of aliens coming down and putting spores out and tainting the faculty, it's some tainted chicken comes down and, no, it doesn't come down. It gets processed and it gets in the kids' school lunches and they eat it. And as they eat it, they become the undead. They become zombies, and pretty fast zombies too. Little kids probably don't seem like they'd be that dangerous, but if you figure there's a lot more kids than there are adults, it becomes kind of an epidemic. It's a fun movie. And I'm mainly bringing it up because I don't think anybody's heard of it, and they should. You can, if you have the Tubi app, you can watch it there, or download the Tubi app. It's free. They have commercials, and they don't waste their time thinking like, hey, this would be a good spot to put a commercial. The commercial just comes on in the middle of whatever, but it's usually, I don't know, it's not that bad. Sometimes I kind of miss commercials. So it gives me that old school feeling. The next movie is Mockingbird. Came out in 2014. And it's a found footage film. The cover's kind of misleading because it's got a clown on it. So I assumed the clown's the bad guy because it didn't necessarily start the whole clown thing, but there's a lot of clown movies out there. And most of them look really bad. This is not a clown movie. This is a found footage. It tells the story of 3 people, well, 4 people actually. The first people are a couple. They find a camera on the doorstep. The thing that these 3 people have in common is, because I think they all did some kind of sweepstakes thing to try and win something. So they all think they're contest winners. And they get a camera and they get instructions on what to do with the camera. But it turns out it's not what they think. And there's no money prize. And this free camera, it comes at a very high price because now all their lives are in danger. The first 2 is a couple. The stories are intertwined. So the next one is just a girl who lives by herself. And the next one is some kind of loser guy who, for him to get a clown suit and be told instructions that he has to run around and do stuff in it, like he couldn't be happier. It's like he's been waiting his whole life. It's like he entered a sweepstakes that said, hey, do you want to dress like a clown and run around and do weird stuff and film it? He's like, yes, I've always wanted to do that. Like he immediately shaves off his beard and he had fairly long hair and he shaves it and he dresses up as a clown and he couldn't be any happier. It's funny because he meets his friends at the store and they immediately recognize him. Maybe it's because they recognize his van that he pulled up in, but it's like, you were a really hairy guy and you just shaved all the hair on your head off. You look like a different person and you're wearing clown makeup, but they're all like, oh, hey, what's up, Bill? Whatever his name was. And the next we got Slender Man, which came out in 2018. I was kind of looking forward to it because there's this weird Slender Man lore internet thing that came out a long time ago. There's a crappy movie that came out a long time ago, and then this is another crappy movie that came out, but it's probably done better. It's about these 4 girls that try and figure out this Slender Man thing, and it's not good. I don't recommend it, but I'll do recommendations at the end of this. Next, we got The Possession of Hannah Grace, 2018. And normally when somebody tells me, like, hey, or ask me, hey, you want to watch a possession movie? I'm like, no, not really, mainly because I'm not that into the supernatural, but also like they're usually long. They're like 2 hours long. You just sit there like, it's like, I've seen The Exorcist, I'm good. It's like, well, we could watch The Haunting of Molly Hartley. It's only like 27 hours long. It's like, no, I don't want to watch that. What about The Exorcism of Emily Rose? Is that what it's called? It's like, yeah, if we start it now, we could be done by Tuesday. Like, no, but this one I looked beforehand and it's like 86 minutes. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that with my eyes shut, like I do the other ones, except I'm sleeping. So I watched it and it was pretty good. It's a different take. It's one of those where I think if you're into possession movies and exorcisms and all that and the supernatural, you probably might be disappointed with this movie because it's a different spin. And the storyline, it follows a girl who gets a job at the morgue working the night shift and different things happen. It kind of feels like it's setting you up for like a plot twist, but you don't get one. I mean, it's good, but like I said, if you don't like supernatural exorcist movies, you might like this. But if you're really into like exorcism movies and possession movies, you might not like it because it kind of falls in that area, like falls like flat. But it's still, I enjoyed it. And the last is Searching, which came out in 2018. It's got Harold and Kumar. And I know what you're thinking. Searching? I know what that movie is. That's not a horror movie. That's a horror movie if you're a dad. If you're a dad and you have a daughter, this movie was probably the scariest movie to come out in 2018. His daughter goes missing. It's funny because he Skypes his brother at one point. This is a funny part to me because his brother's asking him about a recipe for something and he's like, well, blah, 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 but they're Skyping each other. And on the counter, he can see this jar of weed. And he's like, oh, you got some weed. How much of that are you doing? His brother's like trying to discreetly, like, that's oregano. It's like he's clearly busted. But just the idea of Harold lecturing somebody about weed. I mean, I know he's not playing Harold in this movie, but it was still kind of funny. It's like, that's kind of ironic. Harold telling people not to smoke weed every day. It's not like he's going to White Castle or anything. So that is my quick little 5. And so recommendations, I would say, find Cooties and watch it because it's fun. Mockingbird, if you like found footage, it is kind of Saw-ish. And then in the end, everything comes together. It's interesting. Slender Man, don't bother. It's a waste of time. Possession of Hannah Grace, yeah. It was all right. And Searching was really good. It's got the most twists and turns that comes together and pulls it off in a good way since like Wild Things came out in 1998. Like, it's pretty good. It keeps you on your seat because you get to parts where it's like, okay, this should be over now, and then you check the timer and you're like, well, I'm only 45 minutes in, which is weird because it feels like you're farther in, but not in a bad way. But then you're like, I got 45 minutes to go, but he just found out, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know, it's good. I liked it. So for Christmas, my daughter got me Lego Yoda, which I'm almost done building. Here's his head, his creepy head. So that's what I've been doing. I spent 6 hours on this. I'm like 339 steps in. The booklet it comes with is like it's like a manual. It's so thick. It's like thicker. It's like 3 magazines stapled together. I'm just bringing this up because I got a bunch of Yoda behind me. So I thought I'd introduce you to the new member of the family. Hello, Yoda, I am complete. I almost am too. So, yeah, I put like 6 hours into this. So if you're ever like, hey, Damien, you want to go do this? And I'm like, nah, I would, but I'm too busy. I don't have time to do that. You can be like, bullshit. You spent 6 hours putting together a Lego Yoda. You ain't busy. So anyway, that's all I got. talk to you later.
Nothing.
Oh, shit.
What? It's just a scratch.
Son of a bitch, he's infected.
No, it's nothing. I'm
You
fine.
got cooties, motherfucker!
Wait.
Time for a quarantine.
No, I'm feeling
You're coming with me! Stop resisting!
I feel
Don't resist quarantine!
Wait.
Let me out, asshole.